Commander Vex'thara had conquered 17 star systems. 17.
And each one had surrendered after seeing his magnificent fleet of death ships hovering above their pathetic little worlds.
The formula was simple, really. Show up with enough firepower to glass a continent, demand submission, accept their tearful capitulation, and move on to the next target. Easy credits, as the humans might say. But humans?
Well, humans were supposed to be different.
According to the Galactic Council's intelligence reports, they were a primitive species barely capable of faster-than-light travel. Their weapons were laughably outdated. Their ships held together with what appeared to be duct tape and sheer stubbornness. This should have been the easiest conquest of his career. Should have been. Standing on the bridge of his flagship, the Infinite Malice, Vex'thara gazed down at the blue marble spinning lazily below. Such a pretty little world. Too bad he was about to ruin their whole day. His 4 eyes scanned the tactical displays with satisfaction. 300 warships, each one capable of reducing a city to smoking rubble in minutes. The humans had maybe 50 vessels defending their home world, and half of those looked like they'd fall apart if someone sneezed on them too hard. Admiral Klextor, Vex'thara called to his second-in-command.
His voice carrying the authority of someone who'd never lost a battle. Open a channel to the human leadership.
Time to give them the traditional speech. Klextor, a shorter Vorthak with nervous energy that made him twitch every few seconds, nodded eagerly. Channel open, Commander. The human leaders are standing by. Perfect. Vex'thara straightened his ceremonial armor, the one with all the intimidating spikes and the skull motifs that usually made lesser species wet themselves in terror. He cleared his throat dramatically and spoke in his most menacing tone. Humans of Earth, I am Commander Vex'thara of the Vorthak Imperial Navy. Your world is surrounded. Your defenses are pathetic. Your resistance is futile. He paused for effect, letting the weight of his words sink in. Surrender now and we will allow your species to serve us as slaves. Refuse and we will turn your planet into a floating asteroid field. You have 1 hour to decide. The transmission crackled for a moment, and then a voice responded. Female, calm, almost amused. This is Admiral Maya Sterling of the Terran Defense Force. We've received your generous offer, Commander. Before we respond, might I ask you a question? Wadea Vex'thara blinked in confusion. A question? This was not how these conversations usually went. Most species started with the screaming and pleading by now. You may ask your question, human. How many worlds have you conquered using this exact same speech? The question caught him off guard. What relevance does that have to your surrender? Oh, I'm just curious. See, we've been monitoring Galactic Council communications for a while now. Your little conquest tour has been quite the topic of conversation. 17 systems, right? All rolled over without much of a fight. Vex'thara felt a flicker of unease. Humans weren't supposed to have that kind of intelligence network. Your point, Admiral? My point, Commander, is that you might want to reconsider your 1-hour ultimatum. Now this was getting ridiculous. Vex'thara had faced down the war fleets of Zephyria Prime and made their battle-hardened admirals weep like hatchlings. This single human female was starting to annoy him. And why? Exactly. Should I reconsider? The pause that followed stretched just long enough to make every Vorthak on the bridge shift uncomfortably. When Admiral Sterling's voice came back over the comms, it carried a tone that somehow managed to be both conversational and absolutely terrifying. Because, Commander, you really don't want me to fight back. Vex'thara barked out a laugh that echoed through the bridge.
You?
One human female against my entire fleet. Have you lost your mind? Probably. But that's beside the point. You see, Commander? Those 17 systems you conquered, they all had something in common. They were peaceful, civilized. They valued life over warfare and chose surrender because it meant fewer of their people would die. Noble, really? Yes, and you will make the same choice. Oh, Commander. The amusement in Sterling's voice was now unmistakable. You really haven't done your research on humans, have you? We're not like those other species. We're not civilized. We don't surrender. And we absolutely positively do not play nice when someone threatens our home. Klextor leaned over to whisper in Vex'thara's ear. Commander, our intelligence reports did mention that humans have an unusual psychological profile. Something about a fight-or-flight response that's heavily weighted toward fight. Silence, Vex'thara snapped. He opened the channel again. Admiral Sterling, you have 57 minutes remaining. I suggest you use them wisely. Actually, Commander, I think I'll use them to tell you a story. You like stories, right? Everyone likes a good story. This human was definitely insane. I do not have time for stories. Oh, but you do. See, you gave us an hour. And talking is what humans do when we're preparing for war. We talk, we joke, we tell stories. It keeps us calm while we're getting ready to do absolutely terrible things to our enemies. Something cold crawled down Vex'thara's spine. He'd heard that tone before from the few species that had actually put up a fight. But this was different. This wasn't the desperate bravado of the doomed. This was the calm confidence of someone who knew something he didn't. Fine. Tell your story, human. It will be the last one you ever share. Thanks, Commander. So there was this general once. Not human, obviously. Some big scary alien with a massive fleet and an impressive win streak. He'd conquered dozens of worlds by showing up with overwhelming force and demanding surrender. Worked every time, without fail. Vex'thara felt his stomach begin to churn. Continue. Well, this general, let's call him, I don't know. Whole Vex'thara decided to attack a little blue planet called Earth. He brought 300 warships, gave the humans 1 hour to surrender, and sat back to wait for their inevitable capitulation. The bridge fell silent except for the hum of the engines and the increasingly rapid breathing of the crew. The problem was, this general made a crucial mistake. He assumed humans were like every other species he'd faced. Rational, logical, interested in self-preservation. But humans, well, humans are apex predators who spent millions of years clawing their way to the top of their food chain on a world that actively tried to kill them every single day. This is nonsense, Vex'thara said, but his voice lacked its earlier conviction. Is it? Tell me, Commander. What do you know about human history? Have you studied our wars? Our weapons development? Our methods of dealing with existential threats? Actually, no. The intelligence briefing had been focused on their military capabilities, not their psychology or history. Standard protocol for primitive species. I know enough. Really? Did you know that humans have fought over 4,000 documented wars in just the last 5,000 years? That we've weaponized everything from sharp sticks to thermonuclear fire? That we once fought a war so devastating we called it the war to end all wars, then turned around and fought an even worse one 20 years later? Vex'thara said nothing. Did you know that when faced with superior numbers, humans don't surrender? We get creative. We adapt. We turn everyday objects into weapons and empty buildings into fortresses. We fight dirty, Commander. We fight like our lives depend on it because they do. Their primitive weapons cannot harm my ships. Primitive? Oh, Commander, you really should have done your homework. See, while you were out conquering those peaceful civilizations, humans were busy doing what humans do best. We were preparing for war. A proximity alarm suddenly chimed on the bridge. Plextor's eyes went wide as he stared at his sensor readout. Commander, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the system. They're everywhere. Sterling's voice continued, now carrying a note of satisfaction. You see those 50 ships you can see? They're not our defense fleet, Commander. They're bait. The real defense network has been hiding in the asteroid belt, the gas giant's rings, and the dark side of our moon for the past 6 months. Cloaked, silent, and very, very patient. Vex'thara's hands trembled as he gripped the command console. Ships? Thacker. Oh, Commander, you're thinking too small. We don't just have ships. We have orbital defense platforms, automated missile systems, quantum torpedo networks, and some lovely little surprises we've been working on specifically for visitors like you. The tactical display updated, and Vex'thara felt his 4 hearts skip a beat. The system was lighting up with contacts. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Every asteroid, every satellite, every piece of space debris that should have been harmless was suddenly broadcasting weapons signatures. This is impossible. Our intelligence report said you barely had faster-than-light capabilities. Well, there's your first lesson about humans, Commander. We lie. We're really, really good at it. We've been pretending to be primitive while we've been studying every species in the galaxy, learning their weaknesses, and preparing for the day someone would be stupid enough to threaten our home. Plextor was now openly hyperventilating. Commander, the energy readings are off the scale. Some of these weapons are showing power signatures equivalent to stellar cores. Sterling's laugh was musical and absolutely terrifying. Oh, those are just the planet crackers. We call them the Doomsday Protocol. Figured if anyone ever tried to glass our world, we'd take them with us. Mutual annihilation, you understand. It's a very human concept. You're bluffing. You wouldn't destroy your own planet. Wouldn't we, Commander? Humans once built enough nuclear weapons to sterilize our own planet 17 times over, and that was just to threaten each other. What do you think we'd do to protect ourselves from alien invaders? The bridge was now in full panic mode. Crew members were checking and rechecking their instruments, their voices rising in barely controlled terror as they reported impossible readings from every corner of the solar system. Commander. Sterling's voice had dropped to a whisper that somehow carried more menace than any shout. You have 43 minutes left on your ultimatum. I strongly suggest you use them to retreat, because once that timer hits 0, every human in this system is going to do what humans do best, which is, we're going to introduce you to the concept of Pyrrhic victory.
You might win this fight, Commander. You might even survive it.
But your fleet, your reputation, your precious winning streak, those are all about to become very expensive memories. Vex'thara stared at the tactical display, watching as more and more contacts appeared throughout the system. The humans had turned their entire solar system into a death trap, and he had flown right into it. This is madness. No, Commander. This is humanity. We don't surrender. We don't give up. And we absolutely do not go quietly into the night. So I'll ask you one more time, very politely. Her voice was now barely above a whisper, but it carried across the comm with crystal clarity. Do you really truly want to find out what happens when humans stop being nice? The timer on Vex'thara's display showed 41 minutes remaining. 41 minutes. But Vex'thara stared at the countdown timer, watching the seconds tick away like drops of his own blood. Around him, his bridge crew had descended into barely controlled panic. Klextor was updating threat assessments every 30 seconds, each report more terrifying than the last. Commander, the humans have activated something called Operation Mousetrap. Every major asteroid in the belt is now showing weapon signatures. The energy readings suggest they've been building this network for decades. Decades. While Vex'thara had been conquering civilized worlds that valued peace, humanity had been preparing for war. Not just any war, but the kind of total annihilation that made even veteran Vorthak commanders wake up screaming. Sterling's voice crackled over the comm again, still maddeningly casual. How are you doing over there, Commander? Getting a good look at our little solar system renovation project? This is a violation of 17 different galactic treaties, Vex'thara managed, his voice cracking slightly. Oh, absolutely. We've violated so many treaties we stopped counting. Turns out, when you're not part of the Galactic Council, their laws don't really apply to you. Funny how that works. The Council will hear about this. Or Sterling's laugh was like broken glass in a velvet bag. The Council? You mean the same organization that's been treating humanity like a backwater curiosity while their member species plot our conquest? That Council? Vex'thara felt something cold settle in his stomach.
What do you mean?
Oh, Commander, did you really think this was your idea? That you just happened to decide Earth needed conquering? We've been monitoring Council communications for years. We know about the subjugation protocol. We know about the vote to classify humanity as a slave species. We know about all of it. The tactical display updated again. More contacts, more weapons. The entire system was now glowing with enough firepower to sterilize a small galaxy. But here's what really bothers me, Commander. You want to know what makes humans truly dangerous? Against his better judgment, Vex'thara found himself asking, what? We hold grudges. We remember every slight, every threat, every species that ever looked at us sideways. And right now we're compiling a very long list of Council worlds that thought enslaving humanity was a good idea. Klextor whimpered. Actually whimpered. A Vorthak warrior, reduced to making small animal noises, because a single human female was explaining exactly how doomed they all were. You're threatening the entire Galactic Council? Threatening? Oh no, Commander. Threats are what you do when you're trying to avoid a fight. We're past threats now. We're in the planning stages. The proximity alarms were now a constant chorus. Every few seconds another hidden weapons platform revealed itself, another asteroid disclosed its true nature, another moon shed its disguise to reveal orbital bombardment systems that belonged in military nightmares. Commander, one of his junior officers called out, his voice high with terror. Long-range sensors are detecting massive fleet movements throughout human space. They have ships emerging from nebulae, gas giants, even from inside planetary atmospheres. Sterling's voice carried a note of pride. Took you long enough to notice. We've had ships hidden in every corner of our territory for months. Stealth technology is wonderful, isn't it? especially when you've had decades to perfect it while everyone thinks you're too primitive to be a threat. How many ships? Vex'thara whispered. How many do you think we need, Commander? You brought 300. Oh, we could match that with our reserve fleet alone.
Bah! Why stop there? Why not bring 1,000? 2,000?
It's not like we have anywhere else to be today. The tactical officer's voice cracked as he delivered his report. Commander, I'm detecting over 3,000 human vessels converging on our position. Their technology it's beyond anything in our databases. Impossible. Is it? Sterling asked, conversationally. See, that's the thing about being underestimated, Commander.
While everyone assumes you're primitive, you can work on all sorts of
Interesting projects without anyone paying attention.
While everyone assumes you're primitive, you can work on all sorts of
Interesting projects without anyone paying attention. Quantum drives, matter conversion weapons, temporal displacement shields. You know, the fun stuff. Buffam, Sarah's mind reeled. Heidegger temporal displacement shields were theoretical technology that even the most advanced council species hadn't mastered. You're lying. Am I? Would you like a demonstration? We could show you how our new phase shift cannons work. They fire projectiles that exist in a parallel dimension until they reach their target. Makes armor kind of pointless, doesn't it? The timer showed 32 minutes. Half of Vex'thara's ultimatum had passed, and instead of receiving a surrender, he was listening to humanity casually describe weapons that could revolutionize galactic warfare. This is insanity. Even if you defeat my fleet, the Council will send others. Bigger fleets. You cannot fight the entire galaxy. Can't we? You know, Commander, that's exactly what the Neanderthals said about Homo sapiens, and the mammoths, and the saber-toothed tigers. Funny thing about humans, we have this habit of making extinct anything that threatens our survival. Klextor was now openly weeping. Hold, Commander. Our escape route is being cut off. Human vessels are moving to surround us. You haven't answered my question yet, Commander, Sterling said, her voice dropping back to that terrifying whisper. Do you really want to fight us? Let me help you make this decision. Computer, show Commander Vex'thara the Ceres station footage. Suddenly, Vex'thara's main display flickered and showed an image that made his blood freeze. A massive space station, easily the size of a small moon, bristling with weapons that defied every law of physics he understood. Ships were launching from its bays in numbers that hurt to count. That's just one of our hidden installations, Commander. We have 17 more just like it scattered throughout the system, each one capable of building 1,000 warships per month, each one crewed by humans who really want to test their new toys on someone. 17 installations. 17,000 ships per month. The mathematics of human industrial capacity suddenly became very frightening. This is why the other species surrender, isn't it?
Vex'thara asked quietly.
Smart question. Yes, most species are rational. They do cost-benefit analysis. They consider the long-term consequences of their actions. They choose the path that results in the least loss of life. Very civilized. And humans? Humans wrote the book on total warfare, Commander. We invented scorched earth tactics. We perfected the concept of mutually assured destruction. When someone threatens our home, we don't just fight back. We make sure they never ever threaten anyone again. The timer showed 28 minutes. Your fleet is impressive, Commander. 300 ships, all modern, all well-armed. Under normal circumstances, they could glass our planet in hours. But we're not normal circumstances. We're humans. And humans have this annoying habit of refusing to die quietly. Suddenly, every human ship in the system activated its targeting systems simultaneously. The display lit up like a festival of death, with thousands of weapons locks painting Vex'thara's fleet in threatening red. 27 minutes, Commander. I'm going to do something unprecedented now. I'm going to give you a choice that no other human leader has ever offered an invading force. Vex'thara held his breath. Leave, right now. Turn your ships around. Engage your faster-than-light drives and never come back. Not to Earth, not to human space, not to any system we've decided belongs to us. Do that, and you get to live. And if I refuse? Sterling's voice became absolutely arctic. Then you get to become the galaxy's most educational example of why threatening humanity is a really bad idea. Your fleet becomes target practice for our new weapons. Your crews become casualties in the first battle of the Human Council War. And your name becomes synonymous with the stupidity that started the bloodiest conflict in galactic history. You would really start a war with the entire Galactic Council. Start it, Commander? The Council started this war the moment they voted to enslave us. We're just going to finish it. The timer showed 25 minutes. Plexotor grabbed Vex'thara's arm with trembling claws. Commander, please. Our sensors are showing weapons that shouldn't exist. Energy readings that violate known physics. We need to leave. Now. But Vex'thara was a conqueror. He had built his reputation on victory, on the fear he inspired in lesser species. To retreat now would be to admit that humans, primitive humans, had outsmarted and outgunned the mighty Vorthak Empire. What guarantee do I have that you won't attack us if we withdraw? None whatsoever, Sterling replied cheerfully. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee that if you leave now, human ships will be visiting Vorthak space within the year, but at least you'll be alive to see it. That's not much of an incentive. No, it's not, Hull, but it's the only one you're going to get. Hull, see, Commander, you made a crucial error when you chose to threaten our home. You assumed we were like everyone else. Hull, reasonable, predictable, interested in avoiding conflict. The timer showed 23 minutes. But humans aren't interested in avoiding conflict, Commander. We're interested in winning it. Completely, permanently, with extreme prejudice and maximum collateral damage. Vex'thara looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew. These were veteran warriors who had faced death in 17 different systems. They had never looked this terrified, not even during the siege of Korfak Prime. If I retreat, what happens to the other council species who voted for our subjugation? Oh, them? Well, that's between us and them, isn't it? But I'll give you a hint, Commander. We keep very detailed records. We know exactly who voted yes, who voted no, and who was smart enough not to vote at all. 21 minutes. Computer, show the Commander our ship construction facilities on Luna. The display changed to show the dark side of Earth's moon. What Vex'thara saw there made him understand why Sterling was so confident. Massive industrial complexes stretched across the lunar surface, each one producing warships at a rate that should have been impossible. We've been busy, Commander. Turns out, when you convince an entire species that they're about to be enslaved, they become very motivated to avoid that outcome. We've built more ships in the last 6 months than most species build in centuries. How is this possible? Human ingenuity, Commander, plus a healthy dose of spite. Never underestimate what humans can accomplish when they're properly motivated to hurt someone. 19 minutes. Vex'thara made his decision. All ships, prepare for immediate withdrawal. Set course for the edge of the system. Maximum speed. Sterling's voice carried a note of surprise.
Smart choice, Commander.
You might actually survive this after all. This isn't over, human. No, it's not. In fact, it's just beginning. Because now every species in the galaxy is going to know that humans don't surrender, that we don't negotiate with slavers, and that we have very, very long memories. As his fleet began to withdraw, racing toward the edge of the system with all possible speed, Vex'thara couldn't help but ask one final question. Why? Why go to all this trouble? Why not just join the Council peacefully? Sterling's answer would haunt him for the rest of his considerably shortened life. Because, Commander, peaceful species end up as slaves, and humans would rather die as warriors than live as property. Sweet dreams. And remember to tell the Council exactly what you found here. Tell them that humanity is coming, and when we arrive, we won't be asking for permission. The last thing Vex'thara heard as his ship jumped to faster-than-light speed was Sterling's voice, no longer whispering, but speaking with the calm certainty of someone who had just declared war on the galaxy. See you soon, Commander. We'll be the ones with the really big guns. As Earth shrank behind them, Vex'thara realized he had accomplished something unprecedented in his military career. He had survived an encounter with humanity. He just wasn't sure if that was actually a good thing.